Welcome to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about my experience in Guadalajara, Mexico. So with that, please support the channel, give it a like, please give it a subscribe, it'll mean a lot, and thank you so much for watching. With that, let's get started.
I lost you on the way. I assumed you left me behind. Lifeless days and sleepless nights, so tired of it. I can't get you off my mind, can't forget it. Now I know what I've got to do is find my way back to you. Hey, oh, why did it take you so long?
So Guadalajara is one of the major cities in Mexico. I believe it's by population size the second or third largest city in Mexico. So it is quite a unique city. I arrived there at night, and it was actually kind of cool in the evening as it was getting dark. It was kind of cool being in a like exotic new city, kind of going through the traffic, seeing all the different buildings, kind of like the infrastructure, architecture, you know, the people out and about. It felt like for the first time I was in like a truly Mexican city, because I was coming from Playa del Carmen, Cancun. As I mentioned in my previous videos, those are pretty much like beach cities, resort, vacation site. While you do kind of feel the Mexican culture there, it's not until you go into like a full, you know, regular large city in which you'll kind of see and feel that culture impact. So that was kind of like one of my first impressions. I stayed in what they call the Chapultepec area, and it was actually kind of a cool area where they had a lot of bars and restaurants. You know, they mentioned at night you have to be a little bit careful. You know, don't put yourself in like a dangerous situation, like being by yourself, or, you know, going into like the wrong street, wrong neighborhood, kind of always having your awareness. But one of the things I noticed was either maybe that time there weren't a lot of tourists, or maybe a lot of tourists don't go in that area. But as I was walking around, because when you're in Chapultepec, there's like a long island in the middle of, like, you know, the two streets of like a bunch of vendors of people selling you stuff, and at the side of the streets, that's where you have the bars and restaurants. You know, people were just straight out staring at me, like, you know, obviously being a tourist, but it was a little bit more than usual. And when I was looking around, I noticed, yeah, I don't think there's any other tourists right now. It's all locals. So that was pretty funny. And obviously, being in Guadalajara, it's known for being, you know, the land of tequila. Like most of the world, if not all the world's tequila comes from Guadalajara. You know, surrounding the city, they have like the tequila farms. You know, you can take tours there. I didn't have a chance to go this time. Maybe that's something for the future, but you know, it's known for being the tequila land, and anywhere you go, especially the bars and restaurants, you obviously have to order a tequila, just because, you know, you're in the city. The city has a bunch of, you know, high-class malls, shopping centers. I think the main one being Andurras. If I were to go back, maybe I would stay closer to that area, because they have a few hotels, specifically a Marriott, I believe. It's an awesome shopping center, you know, high class, basically all the, you know, high brand clothing brands that you can think of, you know, and there's also, again, a bunch of surrounding the area, bars and restaurants. It's a little bit, I would say, upper class of the city. So I spent myself being there for, you know, a number of days, not like shopping, but just kind of being in that area, because they have a bunch of cool bars and restaurants. So that was cool as well. And then also just kind of like sightseeing, just going around the city, you know, during the day, not like at night, but just kind of seeing, like I said, the different infrastructure, the different architecture, kind of seeing like how this city is made, kind of seeing how the people interact. That was really interesting. So, you know, again, I stayed in the Chapultepec area, and then I mainly spent my time there, and then also in the Andurras area. You know, that's for the shopping center. I think that's like what the area is called as well. So that's what I would recommend if you're staying there, like in terms of, you know, during the day, and then as mentioned, going out at night if you want to go to a few cool bars, restaurants. I didn't go to any clubs. I'm not sure if they were open in Guadalajara. Me in general, I don't go to clubs at all, rarely, so I can't really speak to that. But in terms of finding like a good bar, a good restaurant to kind of hang out towards, those two areas you can't go wrong with. Another good thing about Guadalajara was they have Uber Eats. So a lot of times I stayed in a hotel. If I didn't feel like going out, I would just do Uber Eats, and they have pretty much anything you can think of. My hotel was quite nice. It was quite centrally located in Chapultepec. So there's a lot of options in order to kind of choose the food from there. In terms of the people, they, it was kind of 50-50 on the English. Again, that's pretty much all of Mexico, depending on who you meet, where they come from, their education level, their job, whether or not they know English or not. But I had Google Translate as a safeguard. So like, in the Chapultepec area, I would say the English was not that high. But if you go to like the Honduras area, a little bit higher, socioeconomic level, people would know English for the most part. So kind of getting by, wasn't too hard. But, my experience in Playa, it's like if they don't know English, just use Google Translate. It's not rocket science. If you're at a restaurant, just point to the menu of what you want to order. So it wasn't that hard in terms of like getting by. Another good thing about Guadalajara that they did have in Playa is Uber. Guadalajara is a big city, so in terms of getting around, Uber does work there. So that's like a lifesaver. You don't have to deal with taxis or deal with anything else. You can just call an Uber, and pretty much the prices, if you're exchanging dollar for the Mexican peso, it's a really good exchange rate. So it's pretty cheap getting around the vast city of Guadalajara. So I'll make a separate video in terms of like the dating experience there. But just to kind of like preview it, the girls are very cute there, especially in the Honduras area. They're relatively receptive to a cold approach, meeting new people, especially if you're a foreigner. So I would say that Guadalajara is a pretty good place to date. And again, I'll make a separate video about this because it seems like you guys like the dating videos more than anything else. But overall, though, I would say that Guadalajara was a really cool experience, kind of like a little bit of detail. My mom went to school there back in the 70s, so she was excited when I told her that I was going. Obviously, the city's changed, 40, 50 plus years later. But some of the monuments, such as Athena statue that I'll put a picture in, is still there. And obviously still being known as like the tequila capital of the world. So that was kind of like a unique connection there. I would say that it's a cool place to visit. If I go back to Mexico, I'm not going to be going back there anytime soon. There's still a lot of other cities and places that I want to visit because Mexico is so big. But I would say that if you're in the area, whether for pleasure or business, it's a good city to visit. I stayed there for a week, which was maybe a little bit too long. I would say 2-3 days is good enough. Again, if it's for pleasure, if you're doing for business, that's obviously maybe you need to be there a little bit longer. But I would say give it a visit there. And then I know that, again, I didn't have a chance, but Puerto Vallarta is close by Guadalajara. So that's obviously another major tourist destination for a lot of people around the world, especially the US. So that's definitely, hopefully next in the near future. And speaking on that, later this year, I might be going back to Mexico. And I think I know the destination, which I'm going to reveal later. So that's just kind of like a quick preview. But again, Guadalajara is like obviously a major part of Mexico. It's a cool city. First time being in Mexico, embracing the culture, being in like a normal large city. So overall, I had a good time. It was a cool experience. I had a great view from my hotel. So every morning I would go there to kind of see the city being awakened and taking a few photos, in which I'll put in here as well. So guys, with that was my experience in Guadalajara. Made it out A-okay. Like most places in Mexico, you have to be a little bit careful when you're, especially if you're a foreigner and you're by yourself. So in the next video, the next city I'm going to talk to you guys about in the next video is going to be pretty interesting. This was kind of like a continuation, but we'll leave it, for then. So with that, guys, again, thanks so much for watching the video. The channel is growing, and it's because you guys are watching and supporting it. Definitely appreciate every one of you. And again, guys, thank you so much for watching the video, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.
I was waiting on the day you would come back to me, hoping that I didn't burn a bridge I could